Hello there guys, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. And today we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiance. And I'm going to give you the lowdown on what's happening with Elisabeth and Andrei in Moldova. So this is 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, Season 5, Episode 12, Compromising Positions. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're back again, what are you waiting for? Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and you can follow me on Twitter at Ebird99. So without further ado, I give you Elisabeth and Andrei. And when we first catch up with this couple, they're going winemaking. So both extended families are going and they're all en route to a traditional Moldovan village. And Elisabeth tells us she just hopes they can all get on. Bear with me for a moment, Elisabeth. The Ebird will fix that for you. Driver, stop the bus, throw off Charlie, Chuck and Jen. Fixed it. And so as they're driving along, Jen said, I would never ever thought I'd be on a bus in Moldova. I didn't even know it was a country. And Andrei said, it's always something new with you, Jen. And then Charlie starts, there are a lot of pretty girls in Moldova. Yeah, I've just noticed looking around a lot of pretty girls. Have they noticed you, Charlie? I bet they haven't. Did you date a lot when you were younger, Andrei? And Andrei said yes, like all men do. Charlie pounced. Aha! But you had to come to America to find one. What, Charlie? What are you even talking about? That's your sister. What, so he couldn't get one of the pretty girls and now he's with Libby? Charlie really is a prized chump. And Jen said, what was wrong with the girls here? Have they got attitudes like the Russian girls? No, they've got attitudes like you, Jen. And then they arrive, they get off the bus, and Jen jumps off and says, finally, she just cannot help herself. Guys, I really cannot stand Jen. She cannot help herself but to make snide comments morning, noon and night. She's actually overtaken Charlie on the snide comment chart. And so they go into a field and there's donkeys there and there's a massive wine press. And Andrei's dad shows them how to put the grapes in and squeeze them with the press and get all of the juice out. And Andrei's translating. And then Chuck asks, is this how you always make wine? Yeah, it's an old way, but we like to do it this way, it's more fun. Couldn't you do it by stomping on grapes, Chuck asked. Chuck, did you graduate primary school? You know you can, of course you can stomp grapes. It's a famous winemaking process, why are you asking stupid questions? And then Andrei said, Chuck, if you want to, you can do it now. And Chuck said, yeah, and you could tell, he just couldn't wait, he was really excited to stomp grapes. I guess at least he's finally enthusiastic about something. But guys, what happened next makes the Ebird know she will never ever drink Moldovan wine as long as she may live. And let me describe to you the disturbing chain of events. So Chuck proceeded to take his trainers off his clammy feet and removed his socks. He walked across the mud, dirt and donkey crap and climbed into a big bucket and stomped on the grapes. And surprise, surprise, Jen said she refuses to drink that Moldovan wine. Along with Moldovan fruit, Moldovan croissants, Moldovan eggs and Moldovan bread, it transpires that she only likes Moldovan macadis. And I hate to say it, but I'm with her on that wine, it was so disgusting. And I honestly cannot believe that feet do not need to be sanitised before stamping on grapes. Anyway, before long, everyone follows suit and they're all pressing wine with their feet. And at the end of the day, Andrei was really happy. He said he felt the day went pretty well. And it felt like it was a fresh start with Elisabeth's family. I want everybody to just get along. Until my wedding. Honestly guys, it cracked me up. I want everybody to get along until my wedding. After that, couldn't really care less. And they all go home happy as Larry. And the next time we catch up with these guys, there's the three amigos, Chuck, Charlie and Jen. For my UK subscribers, CCJ. And in fact, a CCJ is more welcome. And they're all going to have a secret meeting with Andrei's friend Marcel. And Marcel said he really doesn't know why they want to meet up. But as he's Andrei's best friend, he wants Andrei to have a good relationship with his family, so he's going to meet them. And I think that's producer speak for TLC told me to go and meet them. And Charlie gives his detail of the subterfuge. The secret mission is to get info on Andrei. Well done, Charlie. Marcel's never going to pick up on that. You're likely to get lots of details that Andrei doesn't even want you to know. And as I watch Charlie speak, I think he really is what true disappointment looks like. And they're all meeting in a park, as you do. And Marcel said to the three of them, how's your time been in Moldova? Long silence. And Charlie said, it's different. You don't say. And Marcel said, do you like the place? Do you like my country? Another even longer pause, and it's actually really uber embarrassing at this point. And then Charlie said, yeah, it's not bad. But enough of all that crappy small talk, let's get down to brass tacks. What happened to Andrei the other night? And Marcel said, well, you know, it was his fault, your fault, and vodka and alcohol. And then Jen piped up. And Jen, incidentally, has an extremely punchable face. Just thought I'd let you guys know that. Alcohol isn't an excuse, it's not normal. He doesn't seem like a nice guy. And then Charlie said, I don't know Andrei, I just want to get to know a bit more about him. We don't hang out at all. And Marcel said, but why not? I don't know, we just don't. He seems very closed. And Marcel said, well, he's similar to me. He takes a little while to warm up and let someone into their heart. And then Jen burst in again, and she proved to us all that her unconscious bias training had finally paid off. And Jen said, is that how all Moldovans are? Stone cold? Who said that, Jen? No one said stone cold. Why are you trying to put words into other people's mouths? Put very simply, Jen is fucking infuriating. She looks down on everything Moldovan and everything Russian, it would seem. But Marcel plugged away and he said, well, you need to get to know us. We do open up, and then I will do anything for my friends and family. Tell lies, perchance. But then Charlie said, why did you leave the police and move to Ireland? Why, when I try and talk to Andrei about it, does he shut it down? And Marcel said he doesn't like to talk about this part of his life. The job wasn't what we expected. Andrei wanted to stay in the police, but they wouldn't keep him. And Jen said, I've heard that police are corrupt over here. Was Andrei corrupt? And Marcel said, sometimes we break laws, that's how it is. But things went wrong and we had to move suddenly so that we didn't get set up. What do you mean set up? Like sent to jail? Maybe we just had to go. And Jen said, was it because he was straight? And Charlie said, are you trying to tell me that you were the straight guys working in a corrupt police force? And Marcel said, yeah, that's right. yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, that's it, that's right. Oh God, it's so ridiculous. And then Marcel went a bit Goodfellas on us. He said, when you start dancing, you dance till the end. And I think he means by that, once you start taking bribes, you have to keep going. And so when they wanted to pull the plug on it, they were unable to and they got forced out of the force. I don't know if that's what he means, but whatevs. And Chuck said, I think you're hiding something. And Chuck said, what are you hiding? And Marcel said, well, Andrei doesn't want to talk about this, so I'm not going to speak about it. Marcel, I think you'll find you've said far more than you should have done already. And Chuck said, I hate that he's hiding something. Something's bad about this situation. I really want to find out the whole truth. Chuck, I think you'll find that lots and lots of people want to find out the whole truth about you and your dodgy business dealings as well. We don't always get what we want. The Ebird knows that more than most. And so guys, I found this whole thing to be faintly ridiculous. Jen didn't need to be there. That's if I believe the storyline, which I don't. And that's where this episode ends. And normally I would round up and I'd tell you what I think people should do, or what I think people mean by something, but the acting in this is so poor, I can't even be bothered. So I think what I'm going to do is just have a little rundown of each of the three amigos' personalities. At this point, I can't decide which one I like the least, but all three of them are right down there with the cockroaches. So we'll start off with Charlie. Charlie! Well, he's the kind of guy that says, I can't stand the drama, but you know good and well, he starts the drama. He picked and picked and picked at Andrei until he blew, and then he was like, oh my God, Andrei's out of control. He's a class A clown. Charlie's a person for whom taking vitamin pills counts as eating fruit and vegetables, and he won't take any discussion on this. Charlie thinks he's a big cheese, unless Chuck's around of course, or Andrei, but he's not a big cheese, he's a baby bell. Charlie's word's final, and he's definitely not scared of Andrei, definitely not scared of him. Last time I saw you two grapple, you looked scared, you really did, you looked scared. Next up, Chuck. What in the clogged arteries is up with Chuck? And what can we say about Chuck that he hasn't already said about Moldova? He's a wreck from the 1960s. And what's with the look on Chuck's face? Chuck has the perennial look of a man who's not quite sure what you meant by that statement, but is definitely going to let it ruin the evening. Chuck's a real cock of the walk. He's arrogant, he thinks he's better than everybody else. He's too confident for his intelligence level. Chuck has a maddening sense of his own importance. But I trust him no more than I could throw him, and I couldn't even pick him up. But last and undeniably least, we come to Jen. And Jen is absolutely brimming with bullshit. Does Jen have an unsubscribe button? I certainly hope so. For America's sake, for the good of your country. I'm now going to give you a scenario, and I'd like you to let me know what you'd do in this situation. The apocalypse is nigh. The four horsemen are cantering towards you at quite some speed. We may never raise our weary heads to see another day again. The only thing that could make the hell you're about to go through more bearable is alcohol. Oodles and oodles of Moldovan wine. Then Jen approaches. She has said oodles of Moldovan wine. She pours 2 glasses and offers you one. What do? Would you have a drink with Jen? No thanks, Jen. I'll do the apocalypse cold turkey, thanks. and that's how the Ebird feels about Jen. But just very quickly before we go, let's discuss this boring story about Andrei being thrown out of the police force. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Worse things happen at sea. I think the most interesting thing about this story is that almost certainly he hasn't told Libby, and that's a little fallout waiting to happen. But I genuinely don't think it's any of their business what Andrei did before, and here's the reason. They're already married, they already have a child. It's a done deal, it's already finished. That's one. 2. Jen, you have a mugshot. Charlie, you've been in prison. Chuck, you're of, how can we say, dubious repute. So therefore, if it's so important to know who's in our family, shouldn't he know all about what you guys have done? And low-key guys, this is how I know that this whole storyline isn't true, because there's very little chance that Andrei doesn't know about their sketchy backgrounds. And so I think when Charlie was barracking him from across the table in the restaurant the other night, I think Andrei would have just said, "You've been in prison yourself, what are you talking about? I've never been in prison." And the fact that that wasn't said tells me this might have a grain of truth in, but it's really, definitely a TLC storyline. If this storyline were a stick of rock, you'd snap it in half, and it would almost certainly have bullshit running all the way through. And so that's everything for today. Stay with me because I'm going to be talking a little bit more about fake storylines when I review Kalani and Asuelu tomorrow. And it's going to be very interesting because I've got every man and his dog telling me it's all fake and we've got receipts. And Ebird and my beautiful subscribers are going to have an exhaustive intellectual debate about what constitutes a receipt. So if you want to hear more about that, stay tuned. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so as yet, and press the notifications bell. That way, every time I do a video, ding, you'll know about it immediately. And that just leaves for me to say, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much to everyone that's subscribed so far, and I will see you very soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.